Okay, we've got our top three finishers from today's Mission Super Hooligan National Championship race, our first race of the weekend here at Daytona International Speedway. Our winner today, Troy Herfoss. Second place, Tyler O'Hara. And third place, Corey West. We'll get started down there with Corey. Corey, first of all, we'll have you explain why you were late to the grid and started in the back, and then you got a little reprieve with a red flag. But last year, you were up here, and we had a little disqualification. You still haven't given the trophy to Tyler over here, I just found out, so we might want to think about doing that. But is this a little bit of revenge from last year?
Well, I mean, I got third, so it's not really revenge, right? He still beat me.
Well, okay.
But I'm up here. I'm happy about it.
Tell us a little bit about what happened prior to the start and all that drama that unfolded.
Yeah. So we ran into some transmission issues at the end of Q2 yesterday. The boys put a new motor in the bike last night, stayed out till like 2 a.m, I guess. And so when we went out for Q2 this morning, it was like the bike was running in a limp mode. It would only run like 20% throttle. So they scrambled, and Jake had the same issue as me, my teammate. And so he stayed in his leathers all the way up until the race. And so they finally diagnosed the problem with his bike. And I just told my guys, like, you have 30 minutes to put mine together. And so, you know, the 5-board, 4-board, 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds, they're still trying to put the seat on. So we ripped the warmers off. I hauled down to pit lane, and everyone had already split. So back of the grid, and I got to do the siding lap, at least scrub the tires in, and got a killer start. I was up to 5th in 2 laps. I was just getting mega drafts, and then the red flag came out, and it worked out in my favor that I got to start back on the second row where we qualified, and I was just hanging on, man. It took a lot out of me those first 2 laps in the first start, and then just tried to hang with these guys, and then, you know, it was a bummer that Travis, my other teammate, had that moment on the last lap, but it allowed me to get into third, and T.O. came by me, and I just tried to hang in his draft and pull me to the stripe. But, you know, it was a tough way to end the year last year with a broken wrist at Coda and fighting for the podium. So, you know, it's nice to get back on the box our first time back.
All right, thank you. Second place today is Tyler O'Hara. He's our defending champion in the class. He had 2 wins here last year. Second place, not a bad way to start your season.
Yeah, you know, the whole goal always is to get through Daytona. You can't win the championship in the first round, but you can lose it. So just hats off to the whole team, SNS Cycles. This FTR 1200 is running awesome and just keeps getting better and better. Hats off to Troy. First win at Daytona. I know how that feels. Feels good. You know, we're making these bikes better and taking points away from our opposition, which is great. And to get a 1-2 for Indy Motorcycle feels really good. And the first start, we kind of broke away, and we had a group of 3, and we had a good tempo, a good rhythm. I was kind of doing my homework, and after the red flag, I kind of felt like I didn't need to lead and do all the work. So the second start, I was just chilling, kind of riding at the tail end, and I kind of knew these other bikes had some speed in mile per hour, and then we kind of got a little bit separated, and then the 10 bike had a big moment coming out of 1, and that kind of caused me to roll out of it quite a bit and kind of dodge him, and then Troy kind of ran wide in 3, kind of looking back like, hey, where are these guys at? And then by that time he had a pretty good gap, and then it was just all out from there to the finish, and you know, I got to lead off the chicane earlier and beat him to the line, so he got to lead off the chicane now and beat me to the line, which usually isn't typical Daytona. But what a great start for the team. I'm really happy with my program, where I'm feeling. Tomorrow's a new day. We got the bagger race coming up, and you know, scoring points, and I'm just looking forward to the next race for sure.
All right, congratulations. Our winner today, Troy Herfoss from Australia. He's a 3-time Australian Superbike champion. First race with MotoAmerica, first race of the year, first race at Daytona ever, and you win. So it's a pretty damn good start to your season. it looked like early on you were seeing if you could draft to the finish line, and I think you got to a point where you're like, that's not going to work. I need to put my head down and gap these guys in the infield. Was that the case?
First of all, thanks for having me. It's an honour to be here in this championship. I've been trying for a long time to come to the States again and road race, and so it's a real treat to be out here racing with you guys. And yeah, my inexperience is I knew it was going to be the case. It's easy to learn a track when you're comfortable on a motorbike, but you can't buy that experience of riding around the banks of Daytona. And the challenge race hurt a lot. It would have hurt real bad if it wasn't an Indian. So I was happy for Tyler to get the win. But I felt like I'd sort of played the game okay, and he just outsmarted me on the bank. So in that Super Hooligan race, I just thought I had speed on the infield, and let's just see how much of a gap you need to get to the line. So by the sound of it, a lot of stuff went my way with the fight in the background. And this isn't what I signed up for. I watched all the videos last year, and it was Tyler and Jeremy a lot of the time, 1v1, and I'm like, where are all these other guys coming from? So, but a lot of guys have stepped up this year, and it looks like everyone's teams have put in a big effort to try and chase us guys down in the Indians. So maybe that helped me in the end, Tyler getting tripped up a bit. But yeah, it was excitement plus, and I can't explain how happy I am to be able to compete at the front of the races in America.
At a place like this, it's probably a real advantage for you to race the two classes. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure it is. The more laps I can do, the better. I'm sort of at the point now, like going into tomorrow, it'd be nice to have less riding, because I feel like I've worked out a few little bumps, and I feel like I'm ready to go now. So I've just got to figure out the slipstream.
You mentioned that you've been wanting to come here for a while. Now you're here. Is it what you expected? Is everyone treating you well, or do we need to?
That's why I wanted to come back. I started my professional racing career here in the States in 2005. I was lucky enough to move over when I was 17 years old, and I spent 4 years racing supermoto, and it was honestly some of the best years of my life. Everyone in this paddock was so helpful and friendly and accepting, and I actually tried to go road racing here first. But I couldn't. I didn't have the money, and I didn't have the connections, and so I went back to Australia, and 16 years passed by, and here I am.
All right. Well, congratulations. Any questions?
Corey, so last year, well, first of all, the Pan America is a fairly new model for this series, and last year you had a restriction that you had to deal with the air, and they took that away this year. Does it make a big difference in that bike?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the velocity stacks definitely make the bike run a lot better. The bike makes more horsepower than the class allows, and so we have to choke the thing down. And, we didn't intentionally cheat last year. Same type of thing, just mad scramble at night, picked the wrong airbox, and got busted. But the bike sure does run a lot better with those velocity stacks. Once we ran the proper ones last year, we just couldn't get any power out of the thing, and it really hindered its performance. So it's nice to have them back and have the bike running again. But we obviously have a little more work to do on the chassis to keep up with these guys.